here to the right area. Welcome to the command line. Okay, so this is where things. This is literally why you're here. Okay, not the fact that all the other hierarchy sections that I created was not necessary, but you have to understand the concept here. Okay, all right. Without basics and why, you don't understand the why and the purpose of you doing the things that you're doing. Okay, and without basics, you have nothing. All right. And one of my updates, okay, that I wasn't speaking, I actually was, was typing, because my microphone was so bad. Uh, that is what I meant about it. Okay, and you have to understand how important this is. And someone like me, who has mastered the basics, because you got to understand, if I spend 60 to 70 hours, okay, going over the basics to teach it to you, okay, and this is my fourth time going over. I just want you to, and I mean starting from scratch and doing the whole thing all over again, okay, and actually I think it's number five because I've actually gone through the basics, well, the network fundamentals, that is, on Udemy. Okay, so that part's five, but the whole thing is probably going through everything. Is this is my fourth time as of this moment in time. Okay, so now this isn't just helping you; it helps me too to refresh. Okay, all right. It's, and because of that, it makes me even more stronger because I never forget the basics. Does that make sense? Okay, so now let's talk about our modes. All right. First of all, let's get back to our command line here. Okay. Okay. So now, would you like to enter the initial configuration? Okay. All right. And you know what? I'm going to do it this way, so it's not all the way at the bottom here. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's make sure appearance. Okay, 14 points. Okay, so 14 points is my favorite font. These colors are my favorite font. Okay, in Putty, under the window in appearance, you can change the font to whatever you want. Now, it's not like a major, you know, major abundance of fonts, but hey, that's all right. Okay, okay. You still got all these as well too. All right. So now, cancel that, and we can go through our colors. Okay, by doing this. All right, clicking on default foreground and modify. Okay, and add a custom color. Select that. Okay, play around with it and you get the understanding. Okay, all right. That's how I made these colors the way they are. This is my favorite colors. Okay, unless I'm using two devices as an exchange and trying to compare the configs. So one of them will be red to say, "Hey, don't reboot this sucker." Okay. Now, I'm going to say yes. Okay, and I just want to show you what it does. Okay, all right. Would you like to enter basic management? I'll say no. Okay. First, would you like the current interface summary? No. All right. Enter host name, Kyle. Okay. All right. Equals secret password. Okay. So all this is doing is, okay. And I hit Control C to get out of there, by the way. Okay. All this does is ask you a series of questions that you can just put command lines in to do those. All right. So it's an annoyance because they're like, I don't want to configure that right now. All right. And then I'll go to the next question. All right. And some of them you don't have a chance to say no to, like enter host name of the switch. All right. You have to put something in there. All right. Or else, if you just hit enter and don't enter something after the colon, This is going to be what's in brackets, which is going to be your host name. All right, that's how the iOS works. Remember, I'm teaching you an operating system here. Okay, enter host name. All right, if you just hit enter with nothing after the after the colon, this is going to be your host name. What's in brackets. Okay. All right. So now, let us go back over here because we're gonna have to kind of split the screen here. All right. So now, the mode that I'm in now with this caret on this prompt is user exec mode. Okay. All right. I'm gonna reload the switch. All right. But I can't reload the switch. Matter of fact, it's taking that reload name and trying to resolve that name to an IP address with DNS. Okay, that means in this mode, reload does not work. If I do a question mark, okay, all right, notice that I can go line by line if I hit the enter key and page by page if I hit the space key, okay? All right, so now, there is no reload, okay? All right, so I can ping, okay? As you can see, that command works. All right. So why have this mode? Okay. So think of the scenario here. All right. You are the one controlling the network. All right. You you have set up this network. Okay. All right. And you hire a new CCNA. Okay. He doesn't have much experience, and you're going to take him under your wing. All right. Okay. However, he's going to start off in user exec mode. Okay? So there are tasks you can give him. Okay? But in order to get to the next mode, okay, to be able to do more commands, you're not going to give him the password to do that. And by default, there's no password to get to the next mode on these devices. Okay? You have to set that password. All right? And I'm going to teach you how to do that. Now, so let's say he's on a grace period, all right, 60 days, okay, and then you're like, look, if you do good, show up on time, and I get a good feeling for you, in 60 days I will give you more access, okay, all right. So now he has the ability, okay, he did a grace period, everything's great. Now you're going to give him the password to get to privilege exec mode. Now, keep in mind, if you don't set and if you do not set a password to get to privilege exec mode, which is the next level higher, okay, you have given him access to the entire device. Okay, so we're going to go into the next level, which is privilege exec mode, and watch the caret, which is this little thing here, not the H, but the caret. God, I hate this damn thing. All right, so so this little thing here, okay, not the whole damn space line, but you get the idea. All right, watch that caret. All right, and the command is let's let's go up here. Enable. Turn on privileged commands. That's why we call it privilege exec mode. Okay. All right. So enable. Okay. Done. Look at my character now. My prompt. It's now a pound sign. But you know what? I want this protected by a password. Okay. All right. But we're not gonna do that just yet because there's even a higher. I'm sorry. Okay, so you know what? Let's stop. Let's at least talk about this level here. Okay, so now let's go back to exec mode. Okay, and let's look at the commands here. All right. Remember, spacebar does it page by page. Okay. Now, how many page by page? How many lines are this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 lines per page. Now you can change that, okay, which, hopefully I remember to show you how, okay? But at this point, it's level. I mean, it's 20, okay? So every time I hit the space bar, it's going to go up 20 more, okay? All right, if I hit enter, it's only going to go one more. All right, so 20, 40. Okay, now you know it's not 40 because let's go back. All right, and renew 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, so 31 commands on this device and on this platform. Okay, because I mean, it's again, every platform, every iOS version can give you different options, and most likely will give you different options. Okay, you can actually go to a newer version and have the same commands on there. All right. Now you don't use every command on here. Okay. All right. You'll get a feel of what commands that you're going to be using, but trust me, guys, there's a lot. All right. So it's being familiar with the operating system over a period of time. Okay. Redoing things over and over and over and over again. Okay. All right. Remember, I have mastered this device because of how many times I have taken the time to teach this. Okay, and I say 4 times, but that's just the entire CCNA course. Okay, you also got to understand I've taught CCNP. I mean, like deep dives on CCNP courses or classes, and I have a CCNP course on Udemy. I believe for routing and switching. I have to actually go back and check that because I don't know if I actually finished the routing or not. But nonetheless, and plus I've had in the beginning years of my YouTube, I've had over 2,000 videos. Okay, all right. So do you not understand how much I have gone over this stuff? Okay, that's why I have mastered it. All right, it is a time that I put in. All right, and you have to put time in too. I would not recommend putting as much time as I did because holy crap! All right, it can consume your life, and trust me, uh, to the point where it can literally make you have a heart attack. All right, and I'm talking from experience. Not that I had a heart attack, but you get the idea. Okay, all right. It'll make you gain weight. It'll make you your health will degrade because this stuff is addictive. Okay, and why shouldn't it be? All right, we're nerds, right? So let us nerd out on our technology. All right, now this is 31 commands. Now let's go into the enable. Enter 20, 40, 60. See my point? Okay, a lot more commands. Okay, and check this out. Reload is there. Okay, so now, okay, why do we use this mode? Okay, all right. Now the next mode higher is global configuration mode. That means when you're in that mode, you have the power to make configuration changes. In privileged exec mode, this you are privileged, okay, to do certain things like show commands. Okay? I hate the damn caps. Okay? Now, let's do a question mark. Hey, show ARP. Okay? Show ARP. Okay? All right, there's nothing in the ARP table, okay? And why is that? Well, I want you to understand something. Let's do another command here. Show IP, okay? And you know what? Let's actually go in here and look for IP. Sorry, I meant to blow my nose here in a second. IP information, okay? So let's say show IP. Oops, come on. Yeah, you got to get used to me. You have to get used to this. So I'm not no one's really flawless on the command line. It's just you know, it's just nature of the beast, and you're used to it. You don't really you don't really care. Okay, now we have interface. Okay, and it says IP interface status and configuration, but that's not what I really want. Oh, wait a minute. Did I miss it? I must have. Okay, I'm not seeing it. Oh, I'm sorry. Because I was actually already past it. Okay. All right. So IP information. Okay. All right. And then we go to interface. Okay. IP interface status and configuration. Okay. I was thinking that was something else, but that's because I wasn't realizing that I actually typed in show IP. Okay. Um, because there is a show interfaces command. And what does that say? Interface status and configuration. And that's what I thought we were at. Okay. Now, when you're in there and the mode at the bottom, this thing here, okay, all right, and you don't have to scroll all the way down to get out of there, okay, all right, you can use Control C, okay, or you can use the Q character, okay, because I mean this is a Linux-based operating system, okay, all right, but um, but let's go back. Show IP interfaces. Interface. Okay. Now, anytime you do a question mark and you see this, that means, okay, that you can hit enter. All right. But the confusing part with this iOS sometimes is the fact that they're not alphabetical order, and I hate that because I was looking for brief up here, and I'm like, where the hell did it go? Okay, brief summary of IP status and configuration, and you know what? I just want the brief. Okay. Now, there's our brief. It's showing us all the interfaces. Okay. It's showing you their status as well. Okay. Which is kind of interesting because I got things plugged. Oh no, I don't have anything plugged in. Okay, all right. So now, let's take out the brief. Let's see what that shows. Same thing, but it's not in a. It's in a different format. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, and it also shows you inbound access list is not set. I like that command. All right, um, but and of course you don't know what access lists are yet, but that's fine. You will. Okay. Now you can't have something in the ARC table. Okay. If there's no IP address. Okay. So now let's do this. Okay. We'll do that command again. Oh, in order to bring up the last command or the history of commands, okay, you can say show history, which one of my favorite commands. Okay, that will show you the history of commands you've done in that mode now. Okay, you cannot. Okay, now look, it even shows you the capitalations too because that damn caps thing. You cannot go into config T. Okay, and do a show history and get all the um, privileged commands that you have ran. Okay, all right, and you cannot do privileged commands while you're in global configuration mode. Okay, so show does not work unless you use the word do. Now, do, okay, while you're in privileged exec mode, all right, I'm sorry, global configuration mode, you are allowed to do privilege exec modes if you put the word do in front of the command. Okay? All right? And I'm going to show you that. Now, show history or just use up arrows. Okay? Like I said, Linux based. These are the features that you get when you are using Linux. Okay? All right? If you've ever used Linux as an operating system, this will, you'll be comfortable with this as far as going through and using this as a means of uh, pulling up information like file systems using the cat command, things like that. Okay, if you're not, you're going to learn some things in the iOS that you could convert over to a Linux platform, but there is a huge learning curve with Linux, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, but this is Linux base, meaning some things like using the pipe command, which would be that thing right there. Okay, it's helpful, all right, for doing searches and stuff like that. So now we're gonna go back up. Show IP interface. No, we want to do brief. Okay, no, watch. Let's do show history. Okay, notice that even show history comes up. Okay, notice that this command's in there twice, right? I like it, okay? Because you can go behind someone and do a show history, right? While you're consoled into it, and be like, well, let's see what was happening. And you'd be like, yo, dude, look at the commands you ran. Okay? Cool. All right? Trust me, I've used it a lot. But now, let's do show IP interface brief. Okay? And look at this here. Okay? VLAN 1. Okay? Now, we haven't talked about VLANs, but that's fine. So, show VLAN brief. Another brief command. Okay? Alright? And we have a interface VLAN 1. Okay? But I have VLAN 11 and 50. But I can create interface VLAN 50 and 11. Okay? By default, VLAN 1 is already there. All right? So now I'm going to go into my next mode. Now you also got to understand, okay, there is a password that you can set going from user exec mode to privilege exec mode. In fact, you can actually set it up where you allow the user, once they log in, which again, there's no login information, okay? When you get a device right out of the box or erase the starter config, keep in mind, everything is open, okay? Everything is open. There's no configuration on there, all right? You can't move traffic, okay? But everything is open. Now, when I say you can't move traffic, remember the job of a router. The router allows you to route traffic between networks. In order to communicate with network A to network B, you must have a router. Okay? By default, you can't move traffic. Okay? But with a switch, by default, you can. Okay? At layer 2, at the MAC address level. Everything's in VLAN 1. Okay? And all ports are open. Okay? Because if I shut down a port, this will literally say shutdown. Okay? You'll literally see shutdown there. Right now, it's saying down and down because nothing that is live is plugged into this port. However, VLAN 1, interface VLAN 1, which is a logical interface, by the way, is not physical. The rest of these port FA01 to FA21, they're all physical devices. They're down. Nothing is plugged into them. That is on. Okay, now, as a matter of fact, you know what? Is my network thing plugged in? It is. All right, so let me find a cable. Here we go, right here. I'll plug one in for you. Bingo. Okay. FAO23, okay, has changed its status, changed state to up. This is a console message. Okay? All right? Line protocol on NFA FAO 23. Okay? FAO 23 goes to the next line. Okay? Has changed the status to up. Okay? Now, show IP interface brief. And now you see 23 is up. You know what's funny? I didn't even realize 24 was up. My bad. Okay, I could have just used that one. But nonetheless, okay, it is now up because I plugged something live inside it. Okay, all right. Now, and right now 23, and it's funny because I was looking at the switch and I saw all black, uh, no lights. But the reason why is because the actual cable that's plugged into port 23 is blocking the light for 24. That's why I didn't see it. Okay, so now, uh, what was I going to say? Oh, okay. So as you can see, it's up, but VLAN 1 is always up. Okay. Now, question is, what happens if I don't have any interfaces that are up that's in VLAN 1? So I'm going to, you know what? No, I'm not going to unplug them. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually go into global configuration mode, okay, and shut the ports down and let you see what happens in VLAN 1. Now, keep in mind, which I was trying to say before, there is a password going from user exec mode to privilege mode. There is no password going from user exec mode to global configuration mode. Okay. However, all right, which this is an advanced topic, which I'm gonna tell you right now. You can actually, by configuration, set up certain commands to be removed, okay, from individual users that log into the device. I could take the show command off the list as you log in, okay? Because I can have you automatically, okay, bypass user exec mode and automatically go into privileged exec mode when you log in, all right? But you can't reload the switch because I removed the reload command. You can't even do show commands because I removed them. You won't have that power. Okay, so you have that ability. Okay, so what we're sitting on right now, as we are, as this device is communicating back to me, okay, sending messages to the console, okay, us doing our contact help with question marks and doing commands. This is what we call a parser. Okay, and we can create custom parser views. Okay, if you want to understand how to do that, check out Keith Barker parser view video. Okay, I'm probably going to do one myself, but I mean, why not watch Keith Barker? Why not watch Keith Barker since it's already done? All right, so and he is one of my favorite instructors, by the way. Him and Kevin Wallace are literally my top ones. Okay, Brian McGavin is there for the deep dive stuff. Definitely, because he's the man. All three of them are awesome as hell. Anthony Sequeir is good. Jeremy is good, which I can never say his last name, so I'm not gonna try to butcher it. But at one point, Jeremy was my favorite. But as you get deeper and deeper, Jeremy is good for you to get comfortable, man, with the material. He makes you feel comfortable. His older CCNA stuff, though, for real, is a lot better than his newer. And I haven't watched his newer stuff in years, so I have no idea how his newer stuff is. I don't have a clue. So, but nonetheless, he still is. Jeremy is the reason why I believe, okay, that I could do this. Because at first, the instructor I had before, yeah, I just knew I wasn't smart enough. Now, Chris Bryan's another one. I think we already had a video about these. Chris Bryan's another one as far as getting deeper, making you feel comfortable with it. No, this man is technical to a level that um, if you are at a CCNP level, I'm sorry. Okay, I could not do CCNP without Chris Bryant. Sorry, I just couldn't. Okay, and I was on a different level then. All right, CCNA, it just didn't help me. Okay, but everyone is different. Everyone has a different um, relations with the actual instructor as far as doing video training. So it's up to you. But nonetheless, now we're going to go. Oh, I'm sorry. If there's no password from privileged exec mode to global configuration mode, and you do not have parser view setups, okay, for your engineers or your network folks, okay, you have to understand the moment you give them the password, which I hope you have a password from user exec mode to privilege, which you don't because we haven't configured it yet at this moment. So now, once you give them that ability to go from user exec mode to privilege exec mode, or if you forget to add a password to get into privilege exec mode, that individual has full control, especially with no parser views, full control over that device. So be careful and plan and think about who you want to have that access. Okay, so now we're going to go into global configuration mode by saying configure terminal. Okay, as you see, there ain't much there after that. Look at the command prompt. It went from switch pound to switch space config. Okay, now here in privilege exec mode, you can't make changes to the device. But in global configuration mode, you can. Okay? This is where I can change the host name. Ah, damn caps. I hate that. I hate where they put the caps in. I do it all the time. So, okay, and we're going to say cap okay. Okay? Now, it's saved. Now, in this mode, yeah, that's what I want to do. In this mode, okay, right here, do to run exec commands. It's called privilege exec, but exec commands would be the PAL mode. All right, in config mode. So first of all, look at that, doing an up arrow key. That is the only command I've typed in that mode, and that's the only thing in my history. So I'm gonna say show history. It's invalid. Show is not a command here. Okay? But if I do the do command, show history. See? Okay? It's only going to show you the history in global configuration mode. I have to exit out and do a show history. Damn it. Okay, when this interrupts your typing, like it just did, just hit the tab key. See? And it brings it back. Alright, and there's a way to eliminate that, by the way, which we'll learn later. So, show history. Okay? Now, okay? Notice I didn't have to type out the whole word history because there's nothing else that comes after HIS. There's only one command, which is history, after the show command that has an HIS in it, okay? So, and it's kind of funny because you're like, well, how can I do a show history if show isn't a command? That's why we use the do command, okay? And it's only going to show you while you're in that mode, all right? Now, you got to understand that once you're in global configuration mode, you have full power to change anything, all right? Now, while you're an engineer, okay, or a network guy, all right, your company is going to have change control, all right? And if it doesn't, you're going to be the one that has a sense of change control, okay, meaning that you have change control, but it's your change control procedures. Because first of all, you're going to set up a time frame like from midnight to 6 a.m. Okay, where all your changes, that time frame is the only time you can do any changes, and the only time you're ever going to be in that config T mode is during a change window. That means any other time during the day, you would never go into config mode. You are only going to privilege exec mode. Okay? All right? Period. Because there's no reason to do so. All right? A company that has change control is you should not ever go into config T mode without being in a change window and without a change number, meaning that you've gone through, created a change, and got it approved. Okay? All right? Or change number or change ticket, whatever, how you want to see it. Okay, now okay, interface, select an interface to configure. So that means that I can even go into a deeper or a more specific mode to configure something specific. Okay, now notice I have to do the notice that I have to do the do command here because that command does not work in global configuration mode. And since interface VLAN 1 is there, we're going to put an IP address on there and see what happens. Okay? However, we're going to go into interface FAO23 and we're going to say shutdown. And then we're going to go into 24. All right? And say shut down. Okay? Now, look what the parser is telling us. Okay? All right? Now, 23 has changed its state to administratively down. Okay? And now the line protocol is down. Okay? Same thing here. But before we get to 24, okay, look at this. VLAN 1 changed it down. The protocol of VLAN 1 went down because in order for VLAN protocol, now you gotta understand, you got the status and you got the protocol. The status, okay, is going to be whether the port is live and working or not. Okay? All right, your protocol is can it move traffic? Is your protocol working? Is TCP/IP working on its port? Okay? Can you move traffic with this particular interface? And no, you can't. Not when the protocol is down. Okay? All right? So, let's go back and take a look. Do show VLAN brief. Okay? Notice that FA23 and 24 are actually in VLAN 1. So, it might have seemed like it shut down VLAN 1 when I shut down 23, but that's not the case. VLAN 1 did not go down until FAO24 went down. Okay? And you notice that as we shut it down, there was a little delay. So, VLAN 1 was affected, and it just came up on the parser first, immediately before, the interface 24 actually message was sent. But that's not the order it was done. FA23 and 24 was in VLAN 1. Once I shut them both down, VLAN 1's protocol goes down. Okay, so now, let's just do no shut here. Okay, 24 changed state to up. All right. Line protocol on FA24 went to up. All right. Now before I bring it back up, notice that it says administratively down and down. So the status is administratively down. Okay. Where the one before it's just down. When you do a shutdown, it's administratively down. Now, okay. Let's say, okay, all right. I was just getting ready to say, why hasn't the VLAN protocol come back up? Okay. So that verifies right there that what I was saying is correct. Okay, 23 and 24 had to be down if before VLAN 1 protocol went down, because both of those interfaces was in VLAN 1. You got to have a live interface in the VLAN in order, at least one or more, in order for the VLAN protocol to be up. So all right. Now, what you have learned in this video is golden, man. This is good information, okay? So just, and you're going to be getting good information from here on out anyway, okay? There are going to be times we go back to lectures, and then we're going to come back to the command line to verify and validate those lectures, okay? So this is how the course is going to go from here on out. Now, I am going to go into interface VLAN 1. And I'm going to give it an IP address. And I'm going to put in the IP address. And immediately after that, the subnet mask. Now, aren't you glad I taught you subnetting? Because both is needed. You show IP interface brief. Oh, okay. Now, I did an up arrow, but my cursor's at the end. In order to get it back to the beginning, okay, I use Control A. All right. I never use the shortcut to get to the end because all I gotta do is hit Tab key. So I don't even know what the. I mean, I did at one point because I was using it until I realized that the tabs are gonna take me back there anyway. Okay. All right. Now I can do this with Control A, or I can use my arrow keys. Okay. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now, I have an IP address on VLAN 1 now. And now, Tab key would take you out of the mode as well. So you have Control C, Tab, or Q. So sorry about that. So show ARP. But remember, show does not work in this mode. Do show ARP. We got something in my table. You can't have something in the ARP table without having an interface that has an IP address on there and the protocol status is up. Now, check this out. Okay? We're going to go ahead and clear. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to say interface FAO24. Shut down. Oops. Okay, now the VLAN, is it down? Oh, okay, it went down first. See? See how this is the first line that comes up? Okay? All right, so now, do show ARP. Okay, it's there, but let's go ahead and do clear ARP. Do show ARP. Ah. Okay. Okay, it didn't work, so okay, let's be specific. VLAN 1. Show ARP. Wow. I stand corrected. Okay. I was not expecting that. But as you saw, nothing within the table, okay, All right, as long as there was no IP address. I assumed, okay, which I was wrong, that the table would clear itself once the protocol went down. Okay, now let's try it this way now. Shut. We're bringing down VLAN interface. Okay, that's what clears it. Okay, all right. Now let's do a no shut. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Now, in a classroom without being on this command line like this, I would have taught you something incorrect. Okay? Every time you go back and go through the basics, you always learn something new. I just learned this. Okay? All right? Now, me and my network buddy are sitting back talking back, and we were arguing this point back and forth, and I'd be like, "No, dude, that doesn't even make any sense." Okay, but from there, as we are having a disagreement, what do we do next? We have no choice but to go to the command line and see who's right. Okay, this is the power of learning. Okay, and you're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." I'm in shock. Cool as shit. Okay, and here's the thing though. The question is, am I going to remember it next week? All right. And what I'm going to tell you is this. In the beginning, okay, and it's very important, we've learned user exec mode, privilege exec mode, global configuration mode, and interface mode. Okay. All right. And you must be in global configuration mode. Okay. To get to the configuration aspects of your device. Okay. You must go through user exec mode to get into privilege exec mode unless you are prompted with a login, and that login will give you privilege exec powers, which means you will bypass user exec mode. Okay? And you got to understand something. In the beginning, you are going to forget everything the next day, and you have to go back and relearn it again and again and again. But as time goes on, okay, like show IP interface brief, you're going to forget this tomorrow. And you have to go back and watch the video. Okay? But this is going to be a command you're going to use often. And maybe if you're training every day, by the end of the week, you don't have to go back to my video because you know the command. You've typed it in so many times, okay? You have memorized it, okay? So, as you get farther into your years of being in the network field, dude, your memory is going to get so well that you read something today, and next year you'll be like, you know what? I think I read something about this problem when I was actually reading that book. And then you go back and you do research on it, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember this. Okay, this is the practice. This is what happens. Your brain power increases because of the practice. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you right now. Erase startup config is going to be your very famous and favorite command because you're going to know what to do in the beginning, but once you do something and you can't figure out why it's not working, you're going to start from scratch. Okay? And that's okay. All right? I can't tell you how many times I have erased my configs and started off from scratch. Okay? Alright? This is your time to learn. So do not fight yourself. Okay? And feel like an idiot because you are having to erase the config and start from scratch. And let me tell you something, you are an idiot. That's why you are practicing. Okay? And you're turning that idiocy into a skill set and into an intellect. Okay? All right? There's nothing in life that's easy. Nothing. Okay? Even the concept of spilling a glass of water, gravity makes it spill all over the floor. Okay? You can spend your entire life going deeper and deeper and deeper on that particular effect. Where to everybody else, it's just a basic concept, it's easy. And nothing in life is easy. And there will be a point of your life where you're going to realize you don't know shit. And at that moment in life, I don't care if you're doing networking, working on cars, doing car stereos, being an electrician, doing heating and air conditioning, laying carpet, doing fencing. Once you get to that moment in your life that you realize you don't know shit, that's when the real learning begins. And it takes years. So use erase starter config as many times as you got to, because as time goes by, you'll start realizing that you're using that command lesser and lesser and lesser. And the last thing I have to tell you is this. It takes 10 years to build something and 1 day to destroy it. Okay? If you do not consistently, on a daily basis, work on your skill set of networking, okay, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to take a couple of days off, and that becomes 30 days, everything you've learned in those 60 or 90 days is gone. Sorry. Okay? And then you feel like you're starting off from scratch again. And you are. Alright? Consistency, guys. Everyone says this. I can't tell you enough. Without consistency, there is no growth. And growth is a combination of my famous saying: success equals time plus sacrifice. Love takes time. Friendship takes time. Trust takes time. Okay? Skill sets take time. And the thing is, every day you are going to grow, but you're not going to see it and you're not going to feel it. Months will go by, okay? And you will not even realize how much you've learned in that month, okay? Because you're not documenting it. I documented mine, so with my YouTube channel, so I got to see the progression, and I didn't see it until I started going back to my original, videos. Okay, so the best advice I can give you is it takes 100 failures to have a success, and we only focus on the failures and not the successes in our lives, making us our biggest critics of ourselves. Don't do that. Make an effort to see the positive, and they're very hard to see. Okay? If 100 failures makes one success, no wonder all you see is you failing. But you can't have one without the other. You can't have light without darkness. You can't have happiness without sadness. You cannot have good without bad. Okay? All right? You can't have a bicep without a tricep. Sorry. You want bigger biceps, strengthen your triceps. Okay? You want better stomach muscles? Okay? Strengthen your back muscles. I'm not kidding. All right? You can't have one without the other. The door always swings 360 degrees. Okay? And it's going to take you months before you start to see your improvement. But I'm telling you, every day you're going to improve. It's just hard as hell to see. You're going to feel months later that you're the same thing, you're at the same level as you was 3 months ago, and it's not the case. Okay? It's not. When you go to an exam, and if that exam is an 800 score to pass, okay, and you went and took the exam, okay, and you failed because you got a 750 score, all you see is the fact that you failed. You don't see the fact that you learned enough to actually get 750 points. I have seen people fail by 1 point, man, and never go back and take the exam. And I understand. I get it. My first failure was hardcore. And it wasn't until my second exam until I started changing the way I saw it. Okay? That fail is a fail to you. You're not smart enough. That's not the case. Okay? If you would have took that exam in the beginning of your training before you learned anything, you would have got a 0 or 300 because 300 is worse. But you understand my point? But you learned enough to get a 750. That's your success. You just got to go back and get those extra 50 points. You should be ecstatic. Oh my God. I'm doing one of the most hardest exams out there. Well, besides Oracle. That was a joke, but it's still some seriousness to it, okay? But you're doing one of the hardest exams in IT, okay? And I did say one of the hardest. To get a 700 some score should be celebrated. You only got 50 points left, man. Okay? You got to see the progress under the clouded eclipse of the failures. Okay? Don't let failure win. Look at what you're achieving. Okay? And always remember, be strong, be determined, be Cisco.